Hey guys, welcome back to another video here. We're going to come at you with some big swim baits. Now, we are doing these videos back to back, so that's why I'm in my same get up here. Well, let's get after it. Today we're going to talk about these guys here. Some big swim baits, big hooks, owner beast hooks, and why I got these baits, and also, where do I plan on throwing them? Like I said in my other videos, I don't want you guys to think that, I'm not an expert, okay? I'm not a pro. I only know what I know from what I've experienced, from what I've researched, all right? Honestly, I just want to throw bigger baits this year. I want to learn them, and I want to take you guys along for the ride as we experience it. Some successes, hopefully, and probably some failures too. I'm sure I'm gonna mess something up. That's a given. And maybe on a different video, I think, like I said on the other video, we'll do maybe a rod setup that I use for these. I gotta throw it for a little while first. I gotta figure out what's gonna work better for me. I've got a rod it's already set up on. I got a 7.6 heavy action rod. It's actually one of my heavy jig and flipping pitching rods with 20-pound fluorocarbon line, all straight, no braid, no leader, straight fluorocarbon line. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll keep you guys updated later on. But let's get after it in this one. All right, this first one here, we're going to talk about the Savage Gear. It's the 3D Pulse Tail Trout. All right, now this is the 6-inch, and it's the hitch color. I don't really care about the name. I got it because it's a little bit darker. I want a little bit darker one. I want something that they're going to be able to see. And I will throw this in clear water too. This will work. This is going to, from my point of view, this is going to imitate some of my waters, maybe like a darker crappie. It doesn't look like a crappie pattern. I know, I get it. But I've seen some crappies in a couple of lakes I've been to, and some of them are pretty dark, actually. Then it's also going to imitate a little bit of the bluegill. It's got a blue side to it. So it's going to kind of cover a range. It's not going to be exact. I'm not going to be matching the hatch too closely. I'm just looking to get those bigger bites. And they're looking for a bigger meal. I'm just planning on slow rolling this. Maybe I might burn it real quick just to get, some attention. But this is going to be a slow roll. So this has a hook coming up from the top, an exposed hook here, and it's got a treble hook, stinger hook right there. So with this, I haven't thrown these baits before, so I have no experience with these Savage Gear swim baits. Here's a bigger version. This one's an 8-inch. See the difference there? I'm really excited to throw bigger baits. Like I said, I haven't thrown these big baits before, so I want to throw them. I want to see what kind of reactions I can get from these fish. I'm, typically around, some 4 or 5 pound bass, and larger too, I'm sure. But I want to throw these around those bass, and I've got a couple of spots on a couple of lakes where I know I can find them. This is where that's where I'm gonna throw this. I'm gonna throw the big one first. I'm gonna start big and then go small, and go down smaller to see what we can find. And how am I going to tell if they really like it or not, or if there's anything following it? Well, if you guys watched my last video, I don't know if you can tell, but behind me, I'm working on a little something up there. I'm trying to get the Garmin Live Scope installed, and it will be ready by the summer. So that's a little nugget for you guys, that is something that's coming up for me. It's brand new. I've only used it a couple times before, but we're looking to dial that thing in this summer. Big swim baits. Really excited to do that. Those Savage, there's a couple other Savage Gear ones too. Big bluegill, like I showed you guys. A lot of the stuff is, I already showed you in that other video, but I'm really excited to throw this stuff. It's got, the hook, the exposed treble hook on the top. Is this? I believe this is a line through design. So I'm going to be tying my line to that treble hook. All right. And when the fish come and bite it, and they grab that hook, this bait is going to slide up the line. So this bait isn't going to be hanging around the hook, around their mouth, risking shaking that hook out of their mouth. If that bait is pushed up the line, it'll be a lot less likely they are to throw this hook out of their mouth than they would be able to with that bait down, heavy bait down by their mouth, down by that hook. And this has some realistic, you know, it looks very realistic is what I'm trying to say. And this one is the 5.5-inch bluegill. Really excited to throw this guy. I got a smaller one as well, just in case. Now this one isn't a line through, it's just your standard, like, you know, swim bait. It's got the hook up top there. This is a 4-inch bluegill. Still got the pulse tail, so it's got like the wedge style tail. And these guys, I mean, again, very ultra realistic. I haven't thrown any of these before, but I'm really excited to. I'm probably not going to throw this one on that big heavy stick. It's a little bit lighter, but I've got another rod I can throw it on. You know, one like this, you could probably throw on, you know, maybe a medium heavy 7-foot. I mean, I don't get real crazy with rod length. I mean, a 7.6 is probably is the longest rod I own. I don't get real crazy, other than my muskie and sturgeon rod. That's a 7'11", which a lot of guys would say that should probably be an 8 or a 9-foot rod. But hey, I don't care. That works for me. I'm not going to change it. Why pick something that's not broken? Okay. Another one here. So I talked about in the other video, swim baits, running through heavy cover, heavy line. Here is one from Savage Gear, pre-rigged, that you can do that with. Now I'm going to take this one out so I can show you a little bit better. This one is a 5-inch. They call it an LB Greenback. I don't know what LB stands for, but this has got a really good color to it. It almost looks something like real natural. It is a little bit stiffer, so it's gonna, it's not as, the tail's not gonna move that much, but it's still got the wedge tail. You see that? So it's still gonna have some good action. So the key is, the cool thing is that this thing's already pre-rigged. See that? The swim bait hook there, and it's already hidden. It's weedless. You know, go up like that. It's already weedless. When a fish comes to bite, there's already a slot in here, so it gets tucked in there, kind of nice. You can almost not even tell that there's a hook in there, or a belly weighted hook. That's one thing I really like about that. And when they go and bite it, look at that gauge hook. That thing, that's bigger than what I use for flipping and pitching. That is really stout. So, and the reason why I got it is because of that hook, how stout that hook is. My plan for this is throw on that heavy stuff and just chuck it into those weeds, or the heavy cover. Mostly what I'm going to be throwing in is pencil reeds, and I'm going to chuck it in there, and I'm just going to wind it, stop it, maybe twitch it a couple times, and I'm hoping to get a really savage bite. Savage Gear. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. But I'm trying to get some savage bites out of this in the weeds. Why? Because it'd be fun. I don't know. Is this bait probably gonna get tore up a little bit? Yeah, probably. But it's something to try out. It's something different. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of guys do this. Or, if a lot of guys, do four-wheeling with their swim baits in very heavy cover with heavier weights and just chuck them and go. But I've done it, and it's a lot of fun, and that's what I want to do with this guy. I haven't tried this one before, so I'm going to try it out and see, and I'll have you guys along with me when we do that. Another little thing to note is these Savage Gear swim baits didn't really break the bank, to be honest with you. They weren't really all that expensive. Now, does that mean that they're not very good bait? Not a very good bait? No, it doesn't mean that. Honestly, I can't tell you if they are good or not yet. I haven't tried them, but that's what we're going to find out. Next, what we're going to talk about is one I actually got in a mystery tackle box. This is by Coalition Baits, and it's their bluegill. This one is, it's called a gill color, but I'm trying to look for a length here. Oh, right there in front of me. A 5 1/4 inch bluegill. So I'm gonna take this out so I can show you a bit better. But this guy, so you can see the difference in the tail. It's not like your regular wedge tail like you do see on your other ones. And this is actually a hollow swim bait. It's hollow. You know, you see that? So you can rig it a bunch of different ways. This is meant for an owner beast hook. Got them right here. A 6/0. Well, owner, I say owner. You can use you know, other hooks too. They recommend owner beast hook on the package. Here's a 6/0, 1/4 ounce. These are not the, you know, the underspin style. This is without the spin. You can use the underspin too, but on a bluegill bait, I personally prefer just the swim bait itself without the underspin. But one thing to note is you can see the tail. The top of the tail, you know, it's thin. The bottom, it's like you know, it's a big paddle. So that's unique. So I'm very curious to see how this thing's gonna swim. And this might be one that I could throw, you know, in those thick weeds too. I don't know how strong it is. But, you know, we got it in the mystery tackle box. Something I really want to test out. Now it's time for Boom Boom by Optimum Baits. Papa Boom Boom weedless swim bait. This thing's a beast. All right. This is so this one's an 8-inch. I've thrown a bunch of these before, but never this big. I've thrown a 4-inch, I've thrown a 5-inch, and I also bought a 6-inch one too. There we go. 6-inch. So here's the 6-inch. You get them in a 2-pack. And these are going to be thrown on, you know, like your owner beast hook, I believe. This one actually says, so on the back of these, they tell you, you know, they recommended gear. So, you know, the 6-inch they recommend, oh, it's in my hand already. The 8/0, you know, they call it just an 8/0 swim bait hook or larger, 8/0 or larger. This guy, however, requires a 12/0, sorry, here, 12/0 or larger. That's this guy right here. That's a big hook. That's a really big hook. This is gonna be fun to throw. I know these have good action on the smaller ones, but I've never thrown the big one before. And I got kind of a translucent color with the black back. No, it's not really black. It's a little bit darker green and a little bit of blue on the side. Just kind of, you know, a little bit for clearer water. And, you know, it's big, so even in a little bit dirtier water, it's still going to get some attention. It's going to move water. So still going to draw attention. Yeah, for big bass. The only thing, these swim baits is on the bottom up by the head. What I would do, and what I'm going to do, is I'm going to cut a slot. So there's already a slot in here for the hook. But up by the head, right in this region here, there's not a slot. It's solid. And about partway back, I'm going to cut a slot in there, just so that way the hook, when they bite it, has some more space. So that way it's not getting pinched there and twisted sideways, and it's also going to save the nose there when the screw lock. So that's another little tip thing that I'm going to do when I'm throwing these. And I mean, I'm only just theorizing this. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to work best for me. I've done something similar on other swim baits and smaller hooks, and it's worked out pretty good. So I can only assume that's going to work out pretty good for this one as well. Okay, last but not least, we're going to look at the Bass Mafia Dangerous Swim Bait. These are what Chris Zaldane calls the unloaded version, meaning it's just a swim bait, plastic. All these are pretty much unloaded except for, you know, a couple of them, like, you know, this guy. You know, that one's what they call loaded. There's a hook in it. You know, there's a hook in it already, so that's what they call loaded. This is unloaded, no hook, but it's got the slot in there and it's ready to go. You just got to put your hook on there, your preferred swim bait hook. Now they come in 2 sizes. This is a 6-inch. They come in a 7-inch. Like I said, when I first start throwing these, I'm gonna actually start with the 7-inch. I'm gonna go big first, and then I'll step down, see what they like, and then I got a few different colors. This color happens to be Chartreuse Blue. I'm gonna take one out here for you guys so you can see the bait a little bit better. Here it is. There's the bait. I really like that. I like that a lot. So what I'm really digging about this bait is I like the streamline look of the bait. You know, I got some blue on top here. You got the chartreuse side here, and your white belly. Believe it or not, I get a lot of big bites off of this in clear water. Not this per se, but these colors actually in clear water. Largemouth, big ones too. Some of my jerk baits are this color. So I've thrown them, catch fish. Why wouldn't they bite this, right? So it's got your slot there. You see this one? The slot comes up pretty far here, so I don't have to cut a slot in there for that hook. And it's got a spot in the back here, a little I don't know what you call it, a little groove here for your hook to hide down in, so you don't have to text pose it. You stay in there. You could text pose it down in there if you wanted to. And it's got a boot tail. Try to keep it from moving. This bait already, you know, just out of the box, you know how it's moving around. I'm really digging the action, and I think this is going to go pretty well. Like I said, not an expert. I do like the way it looks from the other swim baits that I have thrown. The only way to know if it's really good or not is to get out there, and fortunately, it's still snowing. Well, we're supposed to get snow. We're supposed to get like, you say 6 to 12, no, I'm sorry, 12 to 24 inches of snow. Good Lord, I hope they're wrong. I'm over it. But it's what happens when you live in North Dakota. You get a lot of snow sometimes. I shouldn't complain because there's other places that got it a lot worse than we did. So, off of that subject, this is a swim bait that I'm really excited to use. This might even be the first one I throw. Honestly, it might be the first one I throw. I am going to throw them all. Maybe I'll do a video and throw them all. I don't know if I can throw them all in one day. And we'll do an on the water video and testing, and I'll show you guys the action in the water and what I think of them, my first reaction of them in the water, and see if I even get any bites on them. That'll be the real test. And since I fish a lot of pike infested waters, let's see how well they stand up to pike teeth. We know that pike just tear everything up. So we'll put them to the test. We'll see what happens. So there's the big swim bait talk. That's my opinions on the big swim baits, what I plan on using them for, where I plan on throwing them. I guess I didn't really say a whole lot. Well, where I'm going to throw them like these guys. I'm not going to throw these guys in heavy cover, like heavy weed cover, but we're going to throw them around it, throw them on the edges, throw them on points, and drop-offs, ledges. We'll give that a shot. Rocks, find some rocks, just swim them over top. We'll see what we can find, you know, for cover and throw them in there. I'll probably even throw them on docks. Actually, I know I'm going to throw them around docks. Why not? Fish are hiding there and they want a big, easy meal. If it's only slow rolling, give it a shot. Well, that's going to do it for this video for Big Swim Bait Talk. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that red notification bell so you don't miss a beat. And don't forget, we do have another video coming up. I don't know which one I'm going to do next. It's going to be either the frog one, or another one I'm thinking about doing too is the Savage Gear craws. These new craws that I got. Thinking about going over those and how I'm going to rig them, what I'm going to throw them on, where I'm going to throw them, maybe even the kind of rod that I'm going to throw them on too. So we got a couple other videos coming up. Stay tuned for those. We'll catch you later.